Welcome to our very special segment of Getting to Know Your CEO, where it's always my great pleasure again to introduce the founder and CEO of Latin Metals, Keith Henderson. How you
Hi,
doing,
Roger.
Keith?
I'm great.
Hey,
Thanks.
cool. Well, today, not only did I notice on Latin Metals, the most recent press release that you guys had just the other day, but more importantly, in this type of market that everyone's been experiencing, I noticed some insider buying. So something must be happening. And, please tell us a bit about what's going on, because I know one question that one of the viewers had was the fact that Latin Metals primarily has properties in both Peru and Argentina. Tell us why that is, and if your team can see any other areas in Latin America as being as attractive for your prospector generator business model.
We're pretty focused on Argentina and Peru. And to answer your question, I don't think anything's changed. I think I and the board believe in what we're doing here. I think we believe in the model and we believe in the countries that we're in, and therefore shareholders can expect to see a bit of insider buying from time to time. I think, as I mentioned in the last video, like my average price on this company is 18 cents. I bought another 200,000 shares in the time between we last spoke and now that we're speaking again. My own position is up to 4.5% in the company, and I believe in what we're doing. So there's no particular trigger for insider buying other than this is what I believe is a good investment for myself. And I know I can't give investment advice to anybody else, but I'm buying stock and I will continue to do so. The countries that we're investing in, Argentina and Peru, was a carefully considered thing. We have a lot of experience in both countries. We have a lot of experience in Argentina particularly, and Argentina can be a little bit cyclical. It's not always a wonderful place to be, but I tell you at the moment it is. This is the top investment destination in South America for mining companies right now. It's really, the government is pro-mining, the government is pro-investment. Very importantly, the government's getting the backing of the very largest labor unions. And that's always a really powerful lobby in the background. So not just the sitting government, but also the important people in the country, the people who drive the workforce. They really believe in what they're doing. And I think they're focusing on mining, basically as part of a green energy future for Argentina. And so there's a lot of focus on copper and lithium. And we've got projects both for copper and lithium. What we've really seen, I guess we see new companies and we see old companies. When you see new companies coming in, you've got to pay attention. Last month, BHP invested $100 million in a project in Argentina. And BHP weren't in Argentina before. It's a brand new investment. So why did they do that? You have to pay attention. The companies that are already there, they're still investing. Like Latin Metals has secured investments for up to $26 million from Anglo Gold Ashanti and from Barrick Gold, two of the largest gold mining companies in the world. So there's just so much investment in Argentina. There's so much happening. And we're continuing to look for new projects there as well. In Peru, I still think it's a good place to invest. It's maybe not the hottest place in everyone's mind, but there's some things you have to bear in mind and you have to completely keep at the front. Let's say taxes on the basis of mining that flow to the government. They're expecting, I think it's $1.75 billion coming into Peru this year from mining taxes. It's the number 2 producing copper country in the entire world. The Peruvian currency is number 2 performing currency in South America this year. So nobody can tell me that Peru isn't a good place to invest. And it's very clear that Argentina also is. We continually look at other projects. There's some countries we're a little nervous about and we stay away from. There's a couple of other countries that we are looking at, and maybe over the course of this year, we might look at making some investments there and acquiring some properties. But for now, I think we're pretty focused on Argentina and Peru for those reasons.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you very much for that insight. I know I'm getting more questions about Latin Metals from my investment audience than ever before. Actually, Latin Metals is highly inquired about. And one of the investors asked, what can we look forward to on the acquisition side, or whether is LMS looking to option more of their properties for the remainder of this year?
So yes, you can always look forward to more acquisitions. We have a pipeline of projects, and as we make deals with other companies and option out properties, that creates space for other properties to come in. So we're always moving through this pipeline with the projects. And so, yeah, for 100%, you can expect us to make other acquisitions. And we're looking at various ideas right now. Those are most likely going to be opportunities where we stake the property. That's the best possible value for us because it's cheap and we have 100%. We prefer not to have to option the property off another underlying owner, although in some cases we have had to do that. In terms of optioning properties out, it's always just a matter of when's the best time to do that and when are you maximizing the value. So let's take our Laksha property, our copper property in Peru as an example. We've done lots of surface exploration. We're basically at the stage where we've defined drill targets. We're just waiting now for the final results of exploration, which we expect to have in a few weeks' time, and we'll put those out to the market as well. But the question is, when do we seek a partner? Do we seek a partner right now? Because we could get one. Or do we say to ourselves, you know, let's drill 1 or 2 holes. Let's get a couple of drill holes in here that show any prospective buyer that we've really got something. And that may not be, it may not be the mother lode. It may not be the greatest drill hole you ever saw in your life. But for the companies that come and look at these projects, there's going to be enough information potentially in that drill hole to really make them want to pay for this asset. So we're just playing with those ideas right now, whether we put a couple of drill holes into Laksha or whether we go and get a partner right away. But one way or another, these advanced projects from our portfolio will be going out to partners, and we'll be bringing new properties in at the other end.
Awesome, awesome. And this most recent PR, how is this soil sampling at Aqueous?
We pronounce
what does it mean
we pronounce it Oquis. I know it's a really strange spelling.
Oquis, yeah, Oquis. My bad. Yeah.
We should have called it something else, I think.
Yeah. So how did that soil sampling at Oquis go in terms of, you know, when you're looking at these press releases, and I'm just speaking to the general population here, or general investment audience, how do you speak to what is this material? Is this a material development, and what does it mean for the company?
Yeah, you know, it's difficult for non-technical people to look at these news releases.
Exactly.
Yeah. What does that mean? Well, what does it mean? We have staked 7 or 8 properties in Peru over the last 18 months. We've done a lot of exploration at Laksha, and it's generally been successful, and it's got us to a really good place. Oquis is the second property that we're really beginning to tackle. What would we expect to see under normal circumstances? This is probably the highest risk industry you can invest in some respects. It's very common for us to acquire a property, to go and explore and find nothing. So we're feeling very lucky right now, Roger. Like we've just gone in to do exploration on the second property. It looks great. We've got an anomaly that's 2 kilometers by 3 kilometers in size. And yes, that's big. We've got soil samples that are showing us in that area between 500 ppm and 2,300 ppm copper and molybdenum as well. Those are also kind of relatively high grade. Those are really, really good results. So this puts us on a path. This means that over the next 6 months, investors can expect to see us to go back in there, to do some mapping, to take some rock samples, get some of those samples into news releases, see how this thing builds. And if it builds in the same way that it is built for Laksha, in 6 to 9 months' time, we should be sitting with the second property with drill targets. Again, trying to decide, do we go and drill this ourselves or do we get it out the door right now? But one way or another, it looks like this second property will bring us the same kind of good news that Laksha did.
Wow. That's really good for investors. And congratulations to you too. That's great. Yeah. That's great. Is there any more exciting updates that we can expect out of any of these projects in the next little bit?
Yes, of course. You know, we've announced our definitive deal with Barrick a while ago. As we get into the next 6 weeks or so, we should see Barrick deliver to us data every 3 months, quarterly. So
Okay.
on a quarterly basis, shareholders can expect to see us update them with the results that we've received from Barrick's exploration. We're hoping to sign a similar definitive deal with AngloGold. So AngloGold, the deal is based on an LOI. We now move to definitive, and then they begin exploration as well. And then on a quarterly basis, you'll see results coming out of those as well. We've got our own exploration. So big picture, you can expect to see news releases, probably 1 or 2 news releases every month through the rest of this year, which is a decent flow of news, and it just put a lot of interesting things into the market. And hopefully, if we're getting good results from these projects, it'll create a lot of interest.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear, because the one thing that's really, really big right now for a lot of investors is the commodity sector. Yeah. When you talk about copper and you look at the recent metrics around EV and how many companies are looking into becoming a part of the tertiary supply, you know, Elon's talking about getting into lithium, you know, it's getting really, really, really exciting to be part of the commodity sector, especially when it comes to metals that are battery metals like copper. So thank you very much, Keith, for spending the time with us and our investment audience to share your company's current status. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future for more updates.
Great. Thanks a million, Roger. Take care.
Awesome. No worries. Take care.